Well, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Hi, I'm John Kuert, the interim pastor at First Assembly in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and bringing to you another heart to heart message from my heart to yours. And I hope it will be a blessing to you today and help you to realize that God is still on the throne, that He is still in charge, and that He has not forsaken you. So let's just get into it. I wanted to look at in the Old Testament book of Lamentations. It's not necessarily a cheery book, but there are some really good nuggets in there. I love those nuggets that you find. And sometimes you have to dig for them, but they're well worth it. But anyway, in chapter 5 of Lamentations, Jeremiah, who was called the weeping prophet, is crying out to God because of the terrible circumstances that he and the people of Jerusalem are experiencing. During the reign of 5 kings, he had warned the inhabitants of the southern kingdom of Judah that their spiritual decline would lead the nation to defeat and destruction. But I don't think anyone, including Jeremiah, imagined what he describes for us. It's a really gloomy picture that he paints as he describes the devastation that surrounds him. This is what it says, starting at verse 2. Our inheritance has been turned over to aliens, our homes to foreigners. We have become orphans and fatherless, our mothers like widows. We must buy the water we drink. Our wood can be had only at a price. Those who pursue us are at our heels. We are weary and find no rest. We submitted to Egypt and Assyria to get enough bread. Our fathers sinned and are no more, and we bear their punishment. Slaves rule over us, and there is none to free us from their hands. We get our bread at the risk of our lives because of the sword in the desert. Our skin is hot as an oven, feverish from hunger. Women have been ravished in Zion, and virgins in the towns of Judah. Princes have been hung up by their hands. Elders are shown no respect. Young men toil at the millstones. Boys stagger under loads of wood. The elders are gone from the city gate. The young men have stopped their music. Joy is gone from our hearts, and our dancing has turned to mourning. Well, you talk about troubles. That's not a very good picture right there. And maybe as you read it, you think, well, I don't have a care in the world. But at any rate, they were in a bad way, a really bad way. But in the midst of all this doom and gloom, there is a bright spot. And after Jeremiah looks around at the circumstances, he looks up to God and he says, and here's the gem. Here's the gem. Here's what I want you to remember out of this. I don't want you to remember that long list of terrible things that happened to them and think, well, maybe that's going to happen to us. I don't want you to think about that. Here's the gem. Jeremiah writes, you, O Lord, reign forever. Your throne endures from generation to generation. What's that telling us? God is still on the throne. Now, I don't know about your trials and tribulations. I don't know what all you might be going through. And it may be very devastating. For all I know, you may feel that you're worse off than those people in Jeremiah's day. Although I think most people, after reading the above passage, come to the conclusion that things could be a lot worse. But I do know this: God is reigning, and He is still on the throne. And so I want you to focus on that today. Don't focus on the negative things in your life or your experience or whatever might be happening. If there is some need that you're facing, a physical need, you need a healing, maybe there's a relationship that needs to be healed, maybe you need a job, maybe some of the things that are being done in the country right now are having devastating effect on you. I don't know what it is that you might be facing, but I do know this: God is on the throne. And not only that represents his power. And again, this week we've kind of been looking at that theme of God's power. And, he is able to bring you through whatever it is you're facing. He brought Israel through ultimately from that difficult time. And he can bring you through whatever it is that you might be going through. So look up. Look up. Someone said one time, I think, the outlook may be dark, but the look is always bright. So look up. And especially in these days, look up, because the Bible says your redemption draws nigh, which means that Jesus is coming again soon. And he will judge the world with his righteous judgment. And we will ultimately be vindicated if we remain faithful to God and stay on his side. So there you go. Have a great day. This day, I pray that you'll just keep looking up. And until tomorrow, take care and be faithful to him. He'll be faithful to you. That is for sure. All right. See you tomorrow, Lord willing. Bye-bye.